People, what's happening? It is Tuesday. Hey friend, how you doing, Kirsten? Hope you are well. Hey people, everyone who's on. Where's my drink? I got some juice. Yeah, let me get my juice. Y'all, today has been a full day. So, everybody know I recently made a move to the great city of Houston, and I love it. I love it so far. But let me tell you how this weather hit me. So you might hear it in my voice, a little rasp. Got a little new Lauryn Hill rasp. Hey friend, you in Jamaica? Yeah. So the weather on Sunday, it was beautiful. 80 degrees, y'all. It was nice. And then boom, weather dropped to 40. And so there's that line of storms that's sweeping through the South right now. It hit me, and last night was not it. But I am back for part 3. I think this may be another about 20 minutes. So when I did some feelers, I think people have a tolerance for about 20 minutes, right? Like podcasts, whatnot, so forth. So about 20 minutes in this. And then we can talk about one of the other topics that I want to touch on today, and I'll do it after I talk about Plan 2020, is the exchange between Whoopi and Meghan McCain on The View, which I thought was very interesting. So I saw a replay of the entire, right, like not just a clip when Whoopi is reading Meghan for filth, as she occasionally does, and often, I'm saying occasionally, often does. She often reads her for filth. And then I saw today when The View tried to, she's tired, Whoopi is tired, they tried to clean it up. And what I would tell people is to pay attention to, Whoopi did not apologize on air to Meghan, and Meghan didn't apologize either to Whoopi. And so, just something to know that I like what Whoopi said. Whoopi said, we grown, right? And we all tired. You know, Meghan McCain, she's super conservative, and she owns that. What I do like about what she brings to the show, Meghan often has her facts and her details. I don't like always the way that she presents them, but she know what she's talking about, you know? So, it was a read for your life. Let me tell you, Whoopi snatched every strand of that blonde hair from the root when she did that. So, but the last part, what I'm really here to talk about, is the last part of 2020 plan. And so, for those of you who are out there and you made your I'm not gonna say New Year's resolutions, because you know, I don't do resolutions, but if you've made a plan, right, to achieve some goals, right? And the whole thing about a plan is to, I like this new mantra piece of setting your intentions, right? We ought to set our intentions and set them daily, set them yearly, and our intentions are to execute things in our life that we want to see, that we want to have happen. And one of the things is we shouldn't always move off of our feelings, but when we strategize and have a solid plan for achieving the things in our life that we want, oftentimes they manifest, right? And so I talked about in video 1 and video 2, which are both on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, you can do 2020 plan, search it, or look on my Facebook page, and you can find my YouTube page and go back and watch those clips. So I'm going to, after this is done with, maybe later tonight or tomorrow, this video will be on my YouTube page as well. But talking about executing, so in video 1, we talked about taking the week and spending that time really thinking about your goals for 2020. You got some goals for next year. You got some goals that are 3 to 5 years, and then maybe you got some goals that are 10 years in reach, right? And so yesterday, in the second video, I released talking about strategies and tactics. And strategies and tactics is taking that goal and breaking it down into manageable pieces that are smart, that are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound for you and or for me, right? And so given my life circumstance and situations, something that might meet the SMART formula for me may not necessarily be smart for you, right? Your finances and my finances might be in 2 different places. And so doing those in that way are really helpful. Susan, I'm gonna call you on Saturday. We need to talk, friend. We need to talk. But thank you too for joining. Really, thinking about, again, what's realistic for you. And so in the executing and talking about it from the standpoint of what's stopping us from executing and what stands in the way. And oftentimes it's just consistency. And so whether you're thinking about your personal goals or whether you're a leader, right, and you're actually leading a team, sometimes your goals don't happen because we aren't consistent and we don't build in checkpoints in place to be consistent or put or utilize strategies, right, that are going to help us each and every day. And so there are a lot of tools and trackers, whether it's your personal plan for work, plan for your life, financial tools, health tools, wellness tools, whatever, spiritual tools, mental tools, whatever it is, phone a friend. You have to engage in the daily practice. And so I like this new phrase that popped up here the last couple months of the year. Everything that you want is on the other side of consistency. And so when we think about our goals and our plans, think about it in that term too. Everything that we want is on the other side of consistency. And that's the question in executing. What will it take for you to be consistent? And you've got to fight and I'm using some language that Eric Thomas had today because I really loved it. He released a video, we're no longer fighting people, but we're fighting those bad habits that we have. We're fighting that laziness. We're fighting distraction. We're fighting temptation. We're fighting the things that are stopping us, or we're pushing forward that even when those things happen, right? Like, someone may have made a plan that they're going to cook more in the new year. Well, you got to first go to the grocery store. That's a strategy. And then you're going to cook every night. That's a tactic, right? And that's going to help you to cook more, right? And then you're going to get on a budget that helps you to make affordable decisions, right, when you're doing it. And so those are ways, right, of just fighting to be consistent and having an accountability partner that's really not going to let you give in, right? And so one of the things that I love about people, right, is that time of year when they go to work out. They have a cheat meal, and they build a cheat meal into their workout plan, right? And so it's to give yourself leeway to enjoy and indulge in the things that you want and still maintain a consistent and healthy workout routine. And so think about that with whatever you're doing, right? Like if you are a shopaholic and you want to start saving money, maybe going cold turkey may not be the best thing for you. It may be, instead of going shopping every weekend, what you may cut back down to is, I'm just going to go shopping one weekend and I'm not going to splurge during that time. So think about it in that standpoint too, from executing. And so being consistent is one thing that's going to help you to remain consistent. And then the other part is what happens when life happens, right? Sometimes we make plans and then we don't know, the unavoidable happens. Maybe your health is not in the best place. Maybe some things shift in your finances. Maybe a job shift. Maybe something got thrown onto your plate that you weren't anticipating. Maybe you had a plan to buy that new car and was saving up for a down payment, right? And then life happened, boom, your alternator is out, right? And now you need to repair. Or if your alternator go out, you might as well go ahead and buy a new car. But anyway, maybe something happened to your vehicle. Something happened that threw you off. You got sick, it's kids, all of those things. Something happens when life happens. And so I like to draw from the spiritual place, right? That says many are the plans of man, right? And what I love about that is yes, we should make our plans and we should make leeway for things to happen. And so what is a plan that's never touched again? A plan is just that. It's our best intention to look forward and to try to forecast where we're going and talk about how we're getting there. Plans are altered every day. They can be retooled. They can be retouched. Our goal is to simply do our best in trying to execute it and then manage when life happens to us or happens to our plan, right? And so don't get distracted. But here's the other thing. How do we look at life happening as an opportunity? You oftentimes hear people say, I had no intent, especially when they talk about jobs, like I had no intent on being here or staying here that long. But what happens when we take the opportunities of life happening to us and turn those into moments, right, that are going to help us propel, project, or even alter our plan in ways that might actually benefit us, right? And so maybe you wanted to buy a house in the country, but maybe an opportunity to come up and buy a condo downtown happens for you, right? And so maybe you buy that condo, set it up, flip it. Now you got the cash to buy the house, down the line, right? And you got money to buy the home and you got some money in your pocket. Who knows? That's just one example, but life will surely happen to your plans. But what do we do again when life happens? Give you some concrete pieces in executing. One is to breathe, right? And sometimes life happening to us, we forget to simply breathe and try to pace ourselves through. Thank you, brother. When life is happening, just breathe, right? It is not always the end all of everything. I don't know, something happened with my connection. So hopefully y'all are back. But sometimes when it happens, just breathe. And sometimes you're just breathing for a while. You might be immobile. Sometimes in life, it really knocks you to your core, especially when it has to deal with life and wellness or wellness of someone that you love. When it happens, you just got to breathe. And sometimes it's okay to stay in that place until you can recover. Now, don't stay there too long, right? And sometimes we might need a jolt to help us to recover. Sometimes when life happens, we don't even realize that we have fallen into a funk that that we can't get out of, right? And sometimes we think that we're okay, and it's okay not to be okay when life happens to you and to your plan. The second thing is to stop the comparisons. Especially when life happens. I was talking with someone, and one of the things, actually several people, and she was talking about her degree, and she said, well, look at the people who were all around me and who started with me, right? Like all of them have gone on and they have done X, Y, and Z, and I'm not necessarily there yet, but please, your plan, your path is not for everyone, right? Your plan and your path is not for everyone. And in this particular scenario, my friend, she had her child, a beloved child, right? And so it may not necessarily have been in the timing in which you wanted to, but it happened. And so here's the opportunity for you to alter your plan enjoy motherhood, and then also figure out how do you still work the pieces in your life to achieve some of the other things that you want. And so having a child does not mean that you need to stop going to school. What it may mean for your personal situation, right, is that you've got to figure some pieces out to figure out how to execute it and make it work for you in a timely manner, right, over the course of maybe some years, right? And it may be longer than what you want, but here's the thing. It's never where you start. It's always about ending where you need to be. It is never where you start. And so another friend of mine, she started her PhD program some 15 years ago, and life happened to her. And she recently graduated, and now she's a doctor, right? And so while some people might ask, how long did it take you or what your topic is, a doctor is a doctor. Right? You got those letters behind your name, and you've got the knowledge and the skill set to go along with it. So again, when life happens to you, or maybe it's just in your own will, right? Something happened to you or it's on your own. Stop comparing yourself to other people, right? Self-inflicted or something happening to you. Stop the comparison. It's your journey in your time. And the best thing that we can do is learn to live and enjoy life on the journey that we're on, right? So again, right, that's breathing when it's happening, and then to stop the comparisons, and then it's work the best path forward, right? Work the best path forward. Every plan, you've got to keep making a move, because sometimes, right, there's that one action equals another action, right? There's an equal and opposite reaction, and so sometimes we make a move, right? I like the saying, it's chess, not checkers, right? So it's being strategic about when you are executing a plan, you know. So maybe you are planning some things, and now is the time. And then there are some things that you plan in your life when the timing will never be right. If you've been following my videos, you know I've said that time and time again. For some things in our life, the timing will never be right. There will always be something else happening. Life will always happen. We just got to buckle down, commit ourselves to whatever it is that we want to see, and then work towards it. All right? And so that is looking for that next best step in it. A fourth part in executing well is knowing when you've hit a dead end. There's a difference between giving up and making a decision that is conscientious and strategic, right? And so maybe you've been trying to execute something for so long and it's not coming through. It may be time to switch strategies, right? So if you've been trying to save money and you can't seem to save money because life keeps happening to you, it may be time to switch strategies. It may be time, right? It may be time to develop another source of income instead of be frustrated. That could be it, right? And so your current stream of income isn't it. It's instead of pouting when things don't go our way, and not to say that we are all pouting, but instead of the woe is me, ask yourself, sit down, think about it, and process, and maybe process with others, what is the next best opportunity for me in my situation? How can I turn some rain into sunshine? How do I figure out how to continue this plan but maybe work it in a different way? Maybe now isn't the time. I'll put it on the back burner and try something else, and I'll come back to it, and maybe opportunity space and a season in your life might present itself to where it may be better then. But when life happens, continue to say, okay, this happened to me, I'm breathing, I'm trying to figure out my strategy, and I need to make a decision. Is it best for me to push forward, or is it wise of me to say, I've given myself or enough resources in this space? This isn't necessarily going to work for me in the way that I might hope it does. So that's something else to think about when we're talking about executing and achieving our goals. So I really want you to think about some of those pieces when it comes to working your plan. And so I don't know if I'm going to be on next week, because next week is the holidays, and I will probably be with family. But what I will do in the fourth part of this is check back in with you all and see how you've kicked off the new year with your goals and with your plans. And so maybe spending next week and in the front part of executing, finding, establishing yourself so that you can kick off your goals in the new year. Maybe for you, you don't have to wait until the next year. You might be able to start today. Whatever works for you, right? And so people are always saying, oh, I don't do resolutions. I don't believe in goals. You don't need to wait. Well, sometimes in strategy, you do need to wait to execute at a time that actually works for you. So push back all of the naysayers, push back all of the critics, push back all of the skeptics. It's your plan in your time, in your life, on your journey. Just remember that. Your plan in your time, in your life, on your journey. That's a broken record, right? And so anytime people say, well, why you gotta wait and do whatever, you know what? You be blessed and be best. Do what works best for you. I don't need that energy. I don't need that negativity over in my space. You're working it when it works for you, right? So just keep that in mind. And that's all on thinking about your plan. All right.